What's going on, everybody? It's Joel here, and today we're reviewing the Nike Free Metcon 4. Okay, so at first glance, the Free Metcon 4s don't really look too far off from the Free Metcon 3s from last year. The main distinguishing feature from these shoes is obviously going to be the outsole. It's a hate it or love it kind of thing. Actually, I don't really think anyone loves it, but I think people tolerate it. I have come to tolerate it. I don't mind it that much anymore, but it does look like teeth. So if you can't get over that, you're probably not gonna like these shoes. There are some pretty big material differences between the two shoes though. So even though they look pretty similar, there are some differences to the uppers. So first things first, the upper is back to the chain link mesh that they used on the Free Metcon 1s. Last year there was a pretty just standard mesh with some overlays. Now we have that chain link mesh, which is more plush feeling. There are some overlays for a little bit better foot containment on top of that. And what I really liked about the chain link mesh is, one, it looks really cool, and two, it is actually pretty durable. My original Free Metcons still look just like new. I have had absolutely no durability issues with that upper. The other big change with the upper, the Free Metcon 4s, is the entire ankle collar. So it's finished off a bit more nicely. It's a lot more cushioned than last year. So last year you had this piping that went around the edges. On the Free Metcon 4s, it's just completely sewn, and it gives it a much more clean, finished off look. It's a little bit more plush in that area as well, and that kind of continues throughout pretty much the whole ankle section of the shoe. At the back part, there is this little Nike logo, and that's an elastic strap. You can't really adjust it too much, but that is there to give you a little bit more support for your heel to lock it into place. I never had any kind of heel slip with the Free Metcon 3s, so I don't really notice it all that much, or to me it really doesn't do all that much, but I guess maybe some people will get some kind of benefit out of it. I do, however, miss the heel pull tab from the Free Metcon 3s. I really like that. It just helps putting on the shoe, but I mean, if this is helping with heel slip, then I'd say that that's probably a bigger issue. The lacing system on the Free Metcon 4s has changed a little bit, but it's pretty much the same in use. So the Free Metcon 3s have your traditional flywire, 1, 2, 3, 4 lace loops, and then on the Free Metcon 4s, you have some thicker flywire, which they're kind of like ribbons that stick out, but it works pretty much exactly like flywire would. I guess it could help in securing the shoe a little bit tighter when you're like lacing up, but I really didn't notice too much of a difference there either. So inside of the shoes, there is the exact same footbed. They're the same color. They feel the same in hand. They have all the same markings on the bottom of them, which is weird because the Free Metcon 4s feel more plush to me. They feel like a softer shoe overall, and that extends throughout the upper. The whole upper of the shoe feels a little bit more comfortable. It fits on your foot a little bit more like a sock. The ankle collar, like I said before, is a little bit more soft and plush. And then the midsole on the Free Metcon 4s, to me, feels softer. Might be because these are a little bit more broken in. Actually, I'll take that back, because even my other pair feels just as soft as my more used pair compared to my Villains pack of the Free Metcon 3s, which I pretty much just busted out to do this review. I've been wearing it sparingly, but the Free Metcon 4s, to me, overall, feel more soft. They feel a little bit more flexible. The heel height on both of the shoes is probably gonna be the exact same thing. So the drop is going to be 8 millimeters. That's from width. Last year I got 2 millimeters from Nike. So I have no clue which one is right. To me, 8 millimeters feels more like it than 2 millimeters. They don't feel that flat to me. So I'm gonna go with that 8 millimeter drop. The outsole, otherwise, it's the exact same thing. I mean, there's really no differences. You can see the midsole through the forefoot flex grooves, which the forefoot of the shoe moves extremely well, all the way down to the midfoot of the shoe. These shoes are very, very flexible. And then you have that wide contact area for the heel. It has some outriggers and extends out around the heel when you put your foot in. So I really like that part about the shoe, but it does make running in these shoes not that great. And since there's a ton of exposed rubber, these are not going to be shoes that you're going to rope climb in. I didn't do any rope climbs in them last year because we were in the middle of a lockdown and I didn't have access to a rope. But other people that had messaged me had done rope climbs in these, and lo and behold, it ripped a chunk straight out of their shoe. So do not do rope climbs and free Metcons. It's just not going to work for you. And finally, my favorite thing about the free Metcon 4s is that they are really light. I clocked this men size 10 in at 10.2 ounces or 303 grams. Very light shoe, and you can definitely feel the weight savings that it gets you. So when you go to size your free Metcon 4s, I'm gonna say go true to size with these. Initially, it's gonna feel tight like the free Metcon 3s did from last year, but I felt like the true to size fit me better than the half size up, which I also tried. There was just a little bit more room in the toe box initially, but I think after a little bit of break-in, that would become too loose. For me personally, I think that the 10 fits me right on the money. Like I said, it does require a little bit of break-in, but after like one wear, it becomes more comfortable. If you have wide or fatter feet, I'm gonna say that this is probably not the shoe for you. It's a little flat in the toe box, and you can definitely always feel the upper pressing up against your toes. If you don't like that, if you like a wide open toe box, this is also not the shoe for you because, like I said, it's a little flat there. It's a little bit more narrow fitting, and this doesn't apply to me personally because I have pretty skinny ankles, but usually the sock-like uppers are harder for people to put their foot into if you have like wider ankles, wider feet. So that's not really the design choice for people with thicker feet. If you wanted a flexible training shoe, the free Metcon 4s are gonna be it. These are very, very flexible training shoes. And for that reason alone, I like them. Also that they're lightweight. They're easy to do plyometric movements in. Your body weight workouts, these are gonna be excellent for box jumps, burpees are very comfortable to do. You have this toe bumper that helps you get up for burpees, also protects your toe from jamming into the ground when you do burpees. Box jump rebounding is comfortable as heck to do in these shoes. I actually did some sprints in these, and I felt like I was stable throughout my run. I didn't feel like I was tripping over. I felt like the power delivery and responsiveness was excellent from these shoes. And I didn't really notice the clunkiness from the heel that I do notice when I'm doing like longer, slower runs. So one thing I don't like about this shoe is that they're not that great for running if you're a heel striker. Like if you go for like a slow run, these are probably not the best ones for you because of just the clunkiness to the heel. I tend to clip the back left inner part of the shoe when I run, which makes them a little weird for me to run in. But for the majority of the runs that I'm doing in CrossFit workouts where I'm like going at a 400-meter pace, I'm usually running towards the front area of the shoe. And for that, I think that these are pretty good. When it comes to like double unders and stuff like that, the toe box of these is completely flexible. And since they are pretty low to the ground in that area, I felt like tracking double unders in these shoes is absolutely no issue. You will have to worry about getting your rope tangled into the teeth of the shoe, but other than that, I thought they were pretty comfortable and pretty good for jump roping as well. So for lifting, I thought the free Metcon 4s were a lot better than I thought they would be. So at first glance, you see this big old foam piece at the heel of the shoe, which looks like, I mean, this shoe is gonna be completely soft there and unusable for lifting. But it's really just a sidewall that's raised up over your heel, and then you have some rubber lateral and medial posts to give you some more stability at the heel of the shoe. It's not the most rock solid heel, don't get me wrong, it's not like a normal Metcon, but it is actually pretty decent when it comes to lifting. Now, one thing that I don't care too much for lifting is that there is not a lot of midfoot and forefoot stability in the shoe, so you will find yourself kind of rocking forward. But the nice thing about these shoes is that the toe is pretty grounded. So when you do get in a situation where you're pitched forward a little bit, it's easy to just kind of press your toes into the ground and just stabilize. That I do like about these shoes. The heel contact area with the ground is nice and wide and flat. Do like that, but they are not the greatest squatting shoes in my opinion. They are still a little bit soft. You can do probably like 80 to maybe even 90% with some success in these shoes, but I wouldn't be going for any kind of maxes at all. I just stay away from heavy lifting in general in these shoes. But for the majority of the stuff that I think most people are going to be doing, or weights that you're going to find in a CrossFit workout, or like the normal weights that people do, I think that these are going to be fine. I don't think, like I said, that they're the greatest Olympic weightlifting shoe. They're probably geared a little bit more towards just normal lifting, just like weight room lifting. You can definitely do some lighter barbell cycling in these shoes, but for your heavier lifts, I'm gonna say that these are probably not gonna be the greatest shoe, but I don't think that's why people are buying them in the first place. The free Metcon 4s retail for $120, just like the free Metcon 3s did from last year. You can actually still buy the 3s on the Nike store. And if you are looking to upgrade from the 3s to the 4s, I'm gonna say you're probably gonna wanna save your money. There's not that big of a difference between the two shoes. I wanna say that they're probably 85 to 90% the same shoe. The 4s are a little bit more comfortable. They are a little bit more flexible. They do feel a little bit softer underfoot, but I personally like that the 3s feel a little bit more stable. They don't feel quite as soft. The upper to me feels a little bit less comfortable, but it's not really that big a difference. I never had any heel slip issues with the 3s, and I think if you can get the 3s at like a discounted rate, they're probably the better buy than the 4s. Flexibility is not as good as the 4s, but it's such a minute difference. I don't think most people are going to notice that. But if you're just looking into these shoes right now, like, and you had 120 bucks to spend, I'd say the 4 is definitely the better shoe. It's definitely the better looking shoe in my opinion, just because of the upper upgrades. Some of the newer colorways coming out for the free Metcon 4s are pretty awesome. There's like a fade pack that's coming out for these shoes that looks really, really clean. But otherwise, there's not a huge difference between these shoes. So who would I recommend these for? Somebody that's looking for a shoe to do like lighter weight Metcons, somebody that's not really looking to lift all that heavy, or they just want a more flexible shoe to just work out in. I personally think that these shoes are pretty comfortable. They're not the softest, most plush shoe that you could get, but I wore these up to Sequoia, walked around in them for like 3 days straight, and I found that they were comfortable. They were good for trails. I really couldn't complain, and I really actually like the free Metcon 4s. They're not, in my opinion, the greatest training shoe, or even remotely close to the greatest training shoe, but they're a shoe that I actually like. And I think that for me, I would wear these casually and for lighter training sessions. And I think that they would actually be a pretty decent travel shoe because you can really do anything in these. But if you guys have any questions about the free Metcon 4s, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And if you guys like this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to my channel for future reviews. And thanks for watching, guys.